What's up everybody and welcome to Drive to Thrive. In this video, let's take a look at Alibaba and let's see what to expect, in the upcoming weeks here, especially with the earnings just around the corner. So let's get started. All right, on our daily chart of Alibaba here, we can see that we are sitting just above this 200-day moving average, which is kind of a big deal because if I zoom out of here, you guys can see the last time we were above this 200-day moving average was around January and February of 2021. Since then, we have been using it as a resistance and selling off anytime we kind of came close to it or touched it. So this is a big deal. Can we hold this 200-day moving average to the upside, which would be a major bullish signal, or do we end up selling off of here and breaking underneath here again, which would be seen as a bearish signal? Now, if you can see this red line right here, this has been acting as a strong resistance for almost a year now. I want to say, anytime we kind of get around this $120, we end up getting a sell-off from this level. So that is another negative kind of hanging over our heads. We do have that earnings, coming up here on Thursday, February 23rd, so a couple of weeks before we get those earnings. But if those earnings are positive, then again, Alibaba could be flying up higher. If those earnings are negative, then prepare for us to revisit those low 80s and possibly, God be willing, we might go as low as $64, which would be unbelievable because I ended up selling all of my Alibaba shares. Now, the reason why I did that is again because of the strong resistance level and because I am expecting a pullback, down to possibly as low as, at least these gaps down here, which are around 78 to about $82 right here. So I figured I'm gonna gamble and I'm gonna risk it and sell off pretty much everything that I had in Alibaba and wait for that pullback down to those levels again. Now, if we end up running from this point, I will be one set investor, and the next, area I'd be looking to add or buy some shares in Alibaba would be once we break above this $120, we come back to retest it and we confirm that this indeed is that next level of support and we end up going higher from here. So $120 would be where I'd be looking to buy in if, things start setting up for a nice bullishness, for a nice bullish run up here. As of right now, I do think there could be more pullback, down to around this $78 to $80. So that's why I did end up selling, all of my Alibaba shares. Now, overall, this company is great. I really like it. So for the long run, I really do hope, for my sake, that we end up pulling back to these zones. Now, let's take a quick look here on our daily. So the stochastic RSI, is in this oversold territory right now, hence that pullback. That MACD, is looking pretty good actually. It's about the zero line. It is setting, looks like we might be starting to turn back up. So again, actually is looking pretty bullish on the daily chart currently. Let's get rid of this. Let's go over to our weekly chart. On a weekly chart, again, you can see it's pretty obvious here that $120, has been acting as a resistance going back here in 2014. Acting as resistance here in 2022, February, back again in around July. And let's see, do we end up finally breaking above here, or is this just another, resistance off this level and pull back to retest these lows? So something to keep an eye out for. On the stochastic RSI, we have been overextended and are pulling back. So that is, making me think that we could see us go as low as $80 because of that stochastic RSI is still quite in this overbought territory. And the MACD is starting to lose some of that momentum, although we are crossing past the zero line. So if I'm to be honest, so far it is setting up pretty bullish. If we go all the way out to the monthly chart, which is that long-term, big cycles, we do have that crossover. We are super overextended, which I am expecting this MACD to start moving up. However, the stochastic RSI is also in this overbought territory. So kind of mixed signals. If I look at the picture, of this chart from the grand scheme of things, it does look like we might be coming back down to those 80s or maybe even 60s to retest it one more time. And if we do, I'll be loading it up. But it also does signal some bullishness, especially in the short term. So again, let's see what happens. Otherwise, I hope you found some value in this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and I'll see you in another video. Cheers.